Have you ever felt controlled by someone, as if you were trapped in a game you couldn't escape? It happens to the best of us. You meet someone who seems perfect at first, charming, intelligent, and full of promises. But before you know it, you're caught in their web. They know how to make you feel special, and then they use that against you. They know your weaknesses, your fears, your desires, and they manipulate them to their advantage. But here's the secret. They don't have power over you unless you give it to them. Niccolo Machiavelli, the great political strategist, understood something that most people don't. Power isn't something that can be given or taken, it's something that's taken. If you let someone control you, it's because you've allowed it. You've probably heard the phrase, knowledge is power. But Machiavelli would have disagreed. He would say, power is knowing how to control the knowledge that others have. What does this mean for you? It means that manipulation, control, and influence aren't random acts. They are skills. And just as anyone can learn how to control others, you can learn how to protect yourself from manipulation. Machiavelli wrote about it in his famous works, The Prince and the Art of War. But the truth is, we all deal with manipulation every day, in friendships, in relationships, in business, and even in the media we consume. You're constantly being influenced. The question is, are you aware of it? Because once you understand how manipulation works, you can avoid it. Once you recognize the game, you can stop being played. So let me ask you this. Who's pulling your strings? And are you okay with it? The moment you understand that you have the power to say no, to set boundaries, to control your own choices, that's the moment you take your life back. And Machiavelli would tell you this. Once you take control of your own power, nobody can manipulate you again. Manipulation isn't always obvious. In fact, it's often so subtle that you don't even realize it's happening. You might think you're in control, you're making your own decisions. But more often than not, your choices are being influenced by forces you can't see. Think about the last time you bought something you didn't really need. Did you know why you bought it? Is it because it was truly something you wanted? Or because someone, maybe a salesperson, or even an advertisement, made you feel like you needed it? That's manipulation. The real power isn't in what you can buy or what you can sell. It's in how you can influence the way others think and feel. Machiavelli knew that those who mastered the art of persuasion had control over the masses, and while he was writing about politics, his strategies can be applied to everyday life. You may not be a king, but you are constantly in situations where people try to influence you. Whether it's the media, your friends, or even your own subconscious desires, someone is always pulling the strings. The key to never being manipulated again isn't to fight against everyone who tries to control you. It's to learn how to recognize manipulation in the first place. Once you can spot it, you can make conscious choices instead of being swayed by hidden agendas. For example, the next time someone tries to convince you to do something, ask yourself, what does this person want from me? Ask yourself, what do I really want? And am I acting from my true desires or their influence? When you're aware of manipulation, you take back control of your life. You stop reacting to outside forces and start acting based on your own values and goals. That's the power Machiavelli was talking about, the ability to act freely without being swayed by external forces. So here's the most important question. Do you control your life, or is someone else controlling it for you? The answer to that question is the key to your freedom. Manipulation works best when you don't see it coming. The most dangerous kind of manipulation is the one that sneaks in unnoticed. It's the subtle stuff, the unspoken rules, the casual suggestions, the invisible pressure to conform. Machiavelli knew that for someone to truly wield power, they had to do it from the shadows. They had to control not just what people do, but what people think they want. Think about advertising. It's a perfect example of how manipulation works without ever feeling like manipulation. You see an ad for a new phone, and suddenly you feel like you need it, even if you didn't before. Or think about social media. How many times have you scrolled through a feed, only to feel like you're missing out on something, or that your life isn't as interesting as others? This isn't just coincidence. It's by design. The people who created these systems know exactly how to trigger feelings of inadequacy, fear of missing out, and envy. And they use these emotions to get you to keep scrolling, buying, liking, sharing. The most successful manipulators don't make you feel controlled. They make you feel like you're the one choosing. You think you're in control. But in reality, you're just a pawn in a bigger game. This is where the art of self-awareness comes. And 2, stop being manipulated. You need to know exactly who is pulling your strings. It's not just about knowing. When someone is trying to sell you something, it's about knowing when your emotions are being used against you. Machiavelli's advice isn't just for politicians or leaders, it's for you. Because the truth is, you are constantly being manipulated. The question is, are you aware of it? How do you break free? It starts with knowing that you have the power to question everything. You don't just accept what's told to you. You challenge it. You refuse to be a passive participant in your own life. The moment you start questioning, you take back your power. You stop being a puppet, and you become the master of your own choices. And here's the key. Once you stop accepting things at face value, you stop being controlled by the invisible forces around you. You gain the clarity to see the games others are playing and to play your own game on your own terms. You can never be truly free if you don't understand manipulation. Think about it. Manipulation isn't just about what others do to you, it's also about what you do to yourself. You've been taught to obey the rules, you've been taught to conform, but you've never been taught to question why. Why do you follow the rules? Do you go along with what others tell you? And more importantly, who benefits from your obedience? If you've never asked yourself these questions, you're already being controlled. Machiavelli was all about questioning power. He believed that to truly be free, you must understand the system that governs you, and then choose to act outside of it. This doesn't mean breaking every rule or living in rebellion. It means taking back the decision-making power that's been given away so easily. The truth is, you're not being manipulated by others as much as you're manipulating yourself. You accept things because you've been conditioned to. You live by default because you've never chosen to live by design. You buy things because they're marketed to you, not because you really need them. And when you realize this, you begin to see the matrix for what it is. The game stops being invisible. Machiavelli didn't just want people to be aware of manipulation from others. He wanted them to understand how to manipulate themselves, to how to break free from the patterns that limit us, how to choose what we want instead of what others push on us. The first step to this kind of freedom is becoming aware. When you're aware of the forces that control you, whether they're external or internally, gain the power to make conscious choices. Once you see how your mind has been shaped by others, whether through society, family, or past experiences, you realize that your decisions aren't your own. They're part of someone else's plan. But here's the good news. You can rewrite that plan. You can choose to break free from the patterns that don't serve you. Machiavelli would tell you that the true art of power isn't about conquering others. It's about conquering yourself. Once you master your own mind, once you take control of your own decisions and actions, then and only then can you truly be free. So ask yourself, are you living by someone else's design, or have you created your own? And remember, if you don't choose your life, someone else will choose it for you.